All right, what about their YouTube heads? Travel Wolves in the building. So, as you know, I'm on a journey to complete 500 videos for the month of February, and this is the next one. Jackie Robinson was arrested for riding the bus before Claudette Colvin. Here's what you don't know. Here's what you don't know. Okay, so don't forget we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go into the whole story because apparently there's a bit of another version of the civil struggle Olympics between black men and black women. I don't understand what's going on. People are arguing about Rosa Parks wasn't the first one to get arrested for sitting on a bus. It was somebody named Claudette Colvin, but actually it wasn't even her. And it was really Jackie Robinson. Yes, Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, who broke the color line. So, and we're going to talk about all that. We're going to give you the timeline and the details, and we're going to go into the actual hypothetical that it was a bunch of other people who were arrested for refusing to give up their seat to a white person on the bus. But the ones who made it in the record historically are not the ones that are not the ones that are actually the individuals who get credited for these different things, right? For these how you say civil disobedience, for standing up for their rights under the Constitution, right? So it's not Claudette Colvin, it's not Rosa Parks, and we're going to talk about all that today. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see how my quest to do 500 videos this month goes, and I talk about why I'm doing 500 videos for the month of February in another video before this. Like the video, comment, and after today I got to do 19 more videos. So today's going to be a very long day for me, but I'm going to try to knock out these videos. I think if I keep them to 5 minutes, Anyway, let me get on while you're here. So we're going to talk about Jackie Robinson was arrested for riding a bus before Claudette Colvin. Here's what you don't know, okay? We all know Jackie Robinson for breaking Major League Baseball's color barrier. But did you know that he was arrested for riding a segregated bus before Claudette Colvin or Rosa Parks? That's right. Let's break it down and see how this moment fits into the larger picture of the civil rights movement. This is Black History Month after all, right? It was 1944, and Jackie Robinson was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, serving in the U.S. Army during World War II. At that time, Robinson was an active duty second lieutenant serving his country. But despite his rank, racial segregation was alive and well, especially in the South. Remember, understand this, you had racial segregation primarily throughout all of America, but it was actually legal in the South. Remember, these are Caucasian Americans saying that African Americans are not good enough to occupy public spaces with them. And these people still exist today. They're just old grandparents, and they have passed these values down into their children. Don't think it ever stopped, okay? Don't think this ideology ever stopped. One day, while traveling in Texas, Jackie boarded a bus. But because of the racial segregation laws, he was told to move to the back of the bus. And Robinson was not having it. There's actually a movie about this called The Court Martial of Jackie Robinson. It's a great movie. I recommend you go and watch it. What happened was, on federal property, there was no segregation, but when the bus crossed back into county lines, the county ordinance and the county law said that if you were Negro, you had to go to the back of the bus. So when he got on the bus on the federal property and was in the front, when it crossed the county line, like literally just left the base, he was told to get in the back, and he refused, and so he was arrested, and that's where this goes from there. Jackie Robinson refused to move, but because of that, he was arrested for insubordination and disturbing the peace. So understand, there's a time when standing up for your rights, standing up for your civil rights as an Negro, or later what they call us, African American, you would be arrested for that. You would be arrested for saying, I'm not doing what you want, because it's against the law. It's against all the laws. And they're like, no, only law that matters is our law. Okay? But here's the kicker. The arrest came 3 years before Rosa Parks' historical moment in Montgomery, and nearly a decade before Claudette Colvin's arrest, which happened in 1955. So they're saying different things. We don't really know about this Claudette Colvin arrest. We don't really know about that. But I'm here today to just set the record straight, okay? Now, we all know the iconic story of Rosa Parks in 1955 when she refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, leading to the Montgomery bus boycott. But Robinson's arrest happened during a time where black men and women were still facing severe racial discrimination, even in the military. So, like I said, while there were a lot of African Americans who stood up for their civil rights and were arrested simply for riding the bus and not giving preference to white people, the ones who historically made it into history, right? Jackie Robinson and the others, it's a few. It's like 6 of them that made it into the history books. But Jackie Robinson's incident started way before everyone else's. Way before everyone else's, okay? So let's just get that straight. If we're going to go with who was, that's what I'm saying. It's like the victim Olympics or the trauma Olympics. But we got to get the stories right, because people are acting like they found something, and it means that because they found an accuracy, it's not really even an accuracy, but because they found something, it means that something is nefariously going on behind the scenes, and that's just not so. You got to understand, at that time, all media was controlled by Caucasian Americans. They determined what stories to run, who and what, and all those details. So, of course, they only chose to run Rosa Parks' story. Why did they choose to only run Rosa Parks' story? Because Rosa Parks worked for the local chapter of the NAACP. And so what they were really trying to do was use her civil disobedience to discredit the NAACP and their voter registration movement as being outside agitators. It's really what they were trying to do. They were like, look, they over here creating civil unrest. We got to get them up out of here. It's really what they were trying to do. And so they reported it among the press, and Rosa Parks became the one historically credited with desegregation of buses. But she wasn't the only one who stood up, So let's get that straight right there. So Jackie Robinson arrest, it didn't get the same kind of attention as Parks, right? Well, at that time, it was really considered a military matter, and Robinson was court-martialed, which is different from a civilian trial. And his case didn't gain the same kind of publicity, but the charges were racially motivated. And Robinson was punished for standing up to segregation. So understand this, it's World War II, America's in Nazi Germany, not really fighting for humanity. They were there for other purposes, but they claim the Nazis are so bad. The Nazis got a segregated country. The Nazis treat the Jews and they segregate them, and they're so bad. So, the Nazis are so bad, the Nazis are segregated, yada, 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 yada. But in reality, America was just like Nazi Germany. And you could call the African Americans the Jews of America. So, now let's think about what this arrest means, right? In a sense, Jackie Robinson's act of defiance was a precursor to the much larger civil rights movement. That would take place in the following decades. His refusal to accept segregation and his courageous stand against it would eventually translate into his breaking the color barrier in baseball in 1947. Yes, the court-martial was one of the reasons why Branch Rickey picked Jackie Robinson, among all the other best athletes that were better than him, to play on the Brooklyn Dodgers and break what they call the color line. Basically, integration of professional sports. So understand this. No matter what anyone says about today, today does not matter. Only the past. What everyone says about today does not matter. They want to try to start the race over again. Literally, no pun intended, but they want to try to start a equal America and a just. You want to try to start all that today? No, it doesn't count today. Because your generation before that, they were fucked up. They were scumbags. They were real pieces of shit. Caucasian people who thought they were better than other people because of the color of their skin. Where did they all disappear to? They're still here in the present. They didn't just go in a spaceship and leave the planet. So the past is more relevant than the present. And until you bring justice to the past, until you reconcile that, nothing you do today is ever going to matter. Because at one time, actually, really still today, but at one time, it was enforced. Understand this. Segregation of the races was enforced on a state level, on a federal level. That's a fact. And guess who it was enforced by? Caucasian Americans, not African Americans, not Negroes, right? Whatever they were calling us, right? It wasn't us doing it. It's these people who have the animus. So you could talk about all this kumbaya and unity and all that crap, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Until you know what they have to do? Like President Trump, he has to condemn that era of the South. He has to condemn them publicly. He has to admonish them and continue tearing down the monuments and the public spaces that honor those people who were the governors and mayors and those racist Americans. Until President Trump does that, we always going to be victims of the present because the past is the foundation for it. So this wasn't just about what happened in the military, though, right? This was changing the course of history. Robinson's court-martial was a symbol of resistance, even though it wasn't widely publicized like some of the other movements we celebrate today. And later on, it fueled his determination to challenge the racial barriers in sports, as well as in a broader society. By the time Jackie Robinson stepped onto the field in 1947 as the first African American in the major leagues, he was already a symbol of breaking down racial walls. But his resistance to segregation started long before that. His arrest in 1944 was a key moment in shaping the man he would become, and it served as an early act of defiance against the institutionalized racism that was deeply entrenched in American society as it is today. Institutional systemic racism is very deeply entrenched in American society today. It's in the wealth. It's in the jobs. It's in the places you live. So next time you think of Jackie Robinson, don't just think about his legendary baseball career. Remember that he was a man who fought against segregation in the military before he even set foot on a baseball field. So he's got two credits to his name. Standing up for bus segregation and standing up for segregation in Major League Sports. His courage was visible, not just on the field, but in every aspect of his life. And now I want you to think about this. If Jackie Robinson had not had the courage to stand up to the racial injustice in his time, would we have seen this kind of change in the civil rights movement? Probably not. He was a pioneer, not just in baseball, but in the fight for equality. If you didn't know this piece of Jackie Robinson's story before, now you do. So if you're inspired by his courage, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this, and I will continue to produce it. So let's keep pushing for justice and equality. Our fight is far from over. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, Comment below. What are your thoughts? Let me give you basically a real brief timeline. Jackie Robinson was arrested for not giving up his seat on the segregated bus in 1944. Okay. Rosa Parks and Colvin didn't happen to 1955. So what I think is going on is I think, again, some people want to try to act like they are revealing things. They don't know what they're talking about. You got to dig deeper. And actually, there was someone else who was before Jackie Robinson. Actually, there was someone else who historically has been lost. That was actually way before way before everyone, right? So the first known black person arrested for refusing to give up their seat to a white passenger in the U.S. was Elizabeth Jennings Graham in 1854 in New York City. She was forcibly removed from a streetcar, and her case led to the eventual desegregation of public transportation in New York. Okay? So that's who actually is historically documented as the first one. But there's a bunch of people who aren't documented as the first one. And we should have spent our time identifying them and acknowledging these heroes. Okay? But, Claudette Colvin and Rosa Parks were not even actually the individuals who led anything. They were just the ones who got to it at a point where it reached its peak and enough was enough. Some other notable cases you had were Irene Morgan, July 16th, 1944, arrested in Virginia for refusing to give up her seat on an interstate bus. Her case led to a Supreme Court ruling, Morgan versus Virginia, 1946, that struck down desegregation on interstate buses. Bayard Rustin, 1942, in Tennessee, arrested for refusing to move on a segregated bus, and he later became a key figure in the civil rights movement. So we can find out through the arrest records, of course, of all these little Dixie counties and Dixie towns and cities, who was arrested for what, and we can honor these heroes appropriately. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of history within the families of these people as well. So let's not get it twisted, okay? So to surmise, Jackie Robinson was arrested for riding a bus before Claudette Colvin, and now you know. So what are you going to do about it? Let's put an end to this propaganda, this crap on TikTok, this trauma Olympics, this struggle Olympics, the black woman was always at the forefront of the civil rights movement, doing all the sacrificing. Few of them got murdered. More African American men got murdered. But like I said, we don't want to play these games. But someone is pulling the strings this Black History Month and trying to be like, aha, you see, that history was wrong. So there's something else going on. No, the history wasn't wrong. No one ever said the history wasn't wrong. Remember, if you don't control the media would define your movement. The media would define your history. Okay? So we know what the facts are. And there was some lady who came on there trying to talk about reconciliation and unity. Listen, man, the only people who can end systemic racism, institutional racism, and white supremacy, the only people who can do that are white people, are Caucasian Americans. You want to talk about race reconciliation? They're the only ones who can do that. They have all the power. That's it. That's it. There's no arguing or debating it. They have all the power. Only they can I don't know, figure something out. But here goes the kicker. They don't want to. So why even consider that? Why even try to bring it up? You're not going to change nothing. Anyway, let me get back to what I got to do. I got a bunch of more videos to make. I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe. My Cash App is Leave Feedback. $ Leave Feedback. That's my Cash App. And I'll talk to you guys again very soon. I got like 19 more of these videos to make. All right. Happy Black History Month. Peace.